RSL Nation! Welcome back to the RSL Bros. Boom, 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 boom. I hope they don't copyright me for that song. Marcos, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We had a very good week. If you remember from last episode, Maddie and I were getting ready for farmers market stuff, which we had first farmers market on Saturday down in Provo, and it went very well. Very busy, very packed. You got a bunch of different people selling a ton of cool stuff. So if you ever are busy, not busy, free on Saturday down in Provo, hit it up. Come see us. And then that evening we went to a concert out in the Saltaire. So super busy on Saturday, which was fun. So much fun.
Awesome. We'll send Maddie the receipt for that little commercial we did for her. It's sponsored by Maddie's whatever she sells, so that's good.
Candles and soaps.
Oh, the candles and soap, perfect. Great. You're not gonna ask me how mine was?
How was yours?
Thank you.
Babysitting as usual.
No, babysitting. Did I? Here we go. Saturday, what did I do Saturday? Saturday we did absolutely nothing, and then we went to a friend's house just to a quick visit, but it ended up being all the way until midnight. So, and then Sunday was supposed to be a relaxing day, but in the afternoon ended up seeing you again.
Is that a crime to see me?
Nah, I'm just kidding. Went up to go say hi to the grandparents.
It was the one time I didn't want to come over to your place to watch the game on Saturday. Instead, unfortunately, I missed the game on Saturday, but made up for it. I watched it, so I did not miss it. We'll get into it in a second of how amazing, crazy it was.
We'll get it. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. But since we're pretty relaxed, and by the way, RSL Nation, this is not going to be a regular. We're not going to be doing 2 shows a week every week. We're only doing this while we're having 2 games a week, just so we don't forget the last game, because we have so much to talk about and so little time. We just have to do it. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it.
Well, yeah. You want to do? Let's do the first game this week.
Sure, let's do it. Let's do it.
Why not? Why not? So Saturday we had RSL against Austin down in Texas, and since we just played a midweek game on Wednesday against LA, we saw a lot of changes to the lineup. Of course, we had no Sava; he didn't travel with the team at all, saving him for Wednesday's quarterfinal game against LA Galaxy. Do you think that was a smart move right off the bat by Pablo and the staff of not wanting Sava to travel?
Well, I'm not sure if it was them not wanting him to travel or if it was for personal reasons. I don't know. But the fact that he didn't travel does give us the opportunity to have him fresh for Wednesday. So I guess
Absolutely.
in the end, it turns out to be a good thing for us.
Yeah, but overall in this lineup, we saw a lot of good changes. Glad back in the 11 after he had his yellow card accumulation. Beavers with another game with McMath having concussion protocol. Ojeda, Loflison pulling that defensive mid in the middle. And then we saw Yakison, who hasn't been really seen a starting role, playing, and then Michael Chang, and then Julio, and then the surprise of it all, Rubio Rubin.
And I just put my hands on my hips and say, even though a couple episodes ago I said I was not supporting Rubin, really, I was actually supporting Rubin. I pull for that guy, even though no one else did. Let's call a spade what it is. RSL Nation didn't want him, and I'm like, no, he's a hard worker. I believe that there's a few times where I believe Pablo, and this is one of them where Rubio did do hard work. And finally, the hard work paid off with, to be honest, I don't know what the exact number is. So if you have the exact number, RSL Nation, put it in our comments or whatever. But I think it was like over 900 minutes, 1,000 minutes without a goal. More like 1,900 minutes.
I'd say it's around like a thousand.
Right around 1,000. Might be 2,000. Again, RSL Nation. It was like a year and a half.
Just let us know whatever it is.
It was too long. But
Yeah.
For all the Rubio haters, you're gonna have to drink that one because he's now the second leading goal scorer for the team. But
let me just ask you this, because I asked you this yesterday when we were at our grandparents, but I'll ask you on our episode. With Rubin having 2 goals on Saturday in Austin, which we've seen is a very difficult place because that's our first time winning in Austin, do you feel like this means Rubio is slowly earning his spot as starting up top?
so again, some people are gonna. I have short-term memory, it seems like, but I want to say this, and I think I might change my answer slightly for you, even though it's the same answer. Um, does Rubio play better with Julio as his playing mate, or can we stick Rubio in with Musovski, stick him in with Krylock? Can we stick him in with someone else and he can produce the same amount of effort or hopefully a goal? I think from what, if my memory is not wrong, which it
Mm-hmm.
might be, the chances that Rubio has had in the past couple weeks, month, that have been
Mm-hmm.
close to a goal, I want to say that Julio has been on the field.
Probably.
Please tell us. But I want to say that he has been on the field. If he wasn't on the field, Musovski was also in that rotation. So it's one of those two. Um, so we could be looking at maybe Rubio playing on Thursday or Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but to be honest, I think we're gonna see Musovski, um, possibly a. I don't want to say Krylock, but I mean, let's be real here. I'm gonna be absolutely real. The game on Saturday impressed me only because one, we were playing away. To get a result on the road, we're one of the best road teams in the league right now. With
Right
what do we
behind,
have? What do we have?
right behind Minnesota, because Minnesota has 12 points on the road. We're at 11.
11 points on the road in 8 games. Like, bro,
Can we just play the rest of our games on the road at this point?
seriously,
We have 3 road Open Cup wins on the road. So
we
very,
got
very
used to it.
got used to it. But kind of going off your point, we've seen Rubio Rubin play so much better with Anderson Julio, because Anderson, Julio, and Andres Gomez are very fast technically with the ball, and Rubio Rubin is not that kind of player.
No, he's the wannabe nine. We can't call him a false nine because he's not. He's a wannabe nine. So
Yeah.
when for example on those long goal kicks, he's the one that's jumping up for those headers. He's the one that's trying to get his head on the ball. He's the one trying to get inside the box, get inside the 6-yard box to try to stick a foot in to try and knock it in. Hasn't been successful. He only became successful in this game. Thank heavens, because if it wasn't for him, we would lose. But where was I going with this? I was going with because so Rubio for me, he tries his best. He's up there doing what he can, but I think the combo of Gomez. In fact, listen to this one. If Rubio's still going off of his success, Julio and Gomez, but
Mm-hmm.
also add Sava in the mix, and maybe if as that fifth person in that weird, actually no, if you're gonna play a 4-2-3-1, there's your three. You have your
Well, you have
Sab in
you
the
have
middle,
Ruiz and Ojeda.
but that those are the two back. I'm talking about the four up front. You're talking Sab in the middle, Rubio on one side, Gomez on the other, and then Julio up top. Or and maybe for Wednesday it's going to be Musovski. But you put those three together, you might actually have some success.
Yeah. I don't see that as a bad up top at all. And you made a point of Rubin having going up for those headers. That's exactly what his first goal was. Literally going up, back-headed it in, and keeper didn't move muscle, which was very impressive. Like, we haven't seen that kind of player thus far by Rubin.
Insert quote. Rises up like a salmon.
Exactly.
But as far as what we look like in the game, we actually didn't look too bad. Before the weather break, we didn't look bad at all. First off, we had the goal, so we had the advantage. But also the fact that our possession was good. We had good momentum. We were getting places that we needed to go. So I'm not. I had nothing to worry about that first half. Now the second half is when it was kind of back and forth. We weren't playing horrible,
Hmm.
but it was just back and forth. Um,
It was. It definitely seemed because obviously, if we look at the lineup for Austin, up top, all they had was Ringoni and Oruti. It was definitely drastic to bring in Drusi. Obviously, Drusi coming off that injury, reason probably why he didn't start in this match. But them being down 1-0 going into the weather delay and then halftime, it was drastic because they needed to still get a point at home.
yeah. And I don't know what it is with RSL and weather delays, but they need to stop because it well, this game, the weather delay actually caused some kind of lagginess afterwards because they called it what in the 39th minute, and then they had to come back, play 5-6 minutes, and then go back into
Yeah,
halftime, and then come back out. So it was a not good soccer wise, but
no.
what are you gonna do there? But I'm glad that the boys were able to stick to it. I mean, speaking of boys, let's talk about like a guy that went from boy to a man from this game. Had probably had the most saves in his life, professional career.
Oh my goodness.
My man, Gavin.
Man, can we build like a dam? Like, damn, that kid's good.
Yeah, but dude, that was a really bad dad joke. Where'd you get that?
Oh, Laffy Taffy.
Oh, probably. No, but he had at least three goal saving saves. At least three.
And you could see in I think it was the second half where he had a crucial save towards the end of the game. I think it was right before uh, Austin scored their goal, and he was just barking at our defense for not stepping up. And for being an 18-year-old kid, that's impressive. Because some people, 18-year-old kids are kind of quiet, but he is commanding on the goal which we need.
So the question then comes into play, which we've seen it a couple of times on Twitter, but we're just going to re-say it here. Does Beavers replace McMath if when and if McMath gets healthy?
Let's say, because I don't know for sure, but let's say McMath is ready for Wednesday against LA Galaxy. I would still go with Beavers just because Beavers is riding this momentum. He's done so well so far in Open Cup. He just did amazing against Austin on the road. I would say why not? Um, what about for you?
I mean, so we've been playing him all the Open Cup games. So let's just keep playing him for one. But at this point, with RSL this season, if we lose this Open Cup game, I would still keep playing Beavers because we're at the point of what do we have to lose?
The only thing that we have to earn is last playoff spot.
I mean, the only thing that we've seen lately out of Beavers is more positive than negatives. He's young, so he does make some mistakes, but we've seen too many bright moments to not give him more opportunities.
Yeah, and it didn't help that I think his very first game was a 3-0 loss in Columbus. And 4-0. Yeah, you're right. He was literally just thrown right into the lion's den very first game. So,
Especially after
from,
our 4-0 loss to St. Louis the week before.
but ever since that game, he has proved at 18 years old why he needs MLS minutes.
Yeah, I mean he needs him one for his development, obviously, but the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he's making these kinds of saves right now leads us to believe that he has a lot more potential, um, and I think he's set for great things with this club at least.
Beavers is what I thought Ochoa was going to be, but then of course Ochoa left.
Beavers is what all of us thought Ochoa was gonna be, but we're gonna be. I'm gonna because I hate beating around the bush. If those that know me on Twitter, if I beat around the bush, it's because I'm tired. But if Ochoa didn't have an attitude problem, he'd first once probably be here, or two, he'd be a starter in Liga MX where he's at right now.
Or who knows? Maybe he'd be starting for the Mexican national team.
Also, because he decided to switch.
Yeah. All good what ifs, but we'll never get the answer to those.
Never, 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 never. But one
But
good road win.
I was last thing I was gonna hit on. We saw Austin, of course, scoring towards in the deadlock. Same thing that we keep giving away all season long. A freaking set piece, and we see it the same player over and over this season. Vera. Is it the fact that Vera's playing in the center back role? Do you think that it would help if he plays more on that wing, so he's not giving away set piece after set piece?
This is not a position issue. This is two issues for me. One, a concentration issue. Two, not understanding what kind of marking is supposed to happen, which is also a communication issue. So if one, you're not focused on that play, or your mentality is someone else is going to get it, then you're not in the right headspace. So I think that might be one issue. Two, communication. If he does get caught on a screen, he's not yelling for someone to, hey, help me out or something like that. It doesn't seem that way. It doesn't look like on the TV feed. So and it could be, I could throw in a third issue where he doesn't like to do man-to-man marking and he likes to do zonal marking. So which means that he obviously marks his bubble, and if his mark leaves that bubble, it goes into the next bubble and someone else is supposed to mark them, which again, a communication issue. So there's issues that can be discussed, but yes, RSL has a set piece defensive issue.
Yeah, it's something that needs to be fixed now because it's we're just beating a dead horse because it happens game after game, and especially on the road, that's not something you want to give away ever.
Yeah. I do want to, before we finish out this game, I do want to make mention that we are still nowhere near perfect. We play these good games because of some kind of mentality. All of a sudden, we go into this game mentally ready. RSL has been super inconsistent, which before we go into the LA game and give our predictions, I'm going to say this with a huge asterisk with bold letters: it is super hard to do predictions with RSL because you do not know what RSL is going to show up.
Were you predicting for, was that Austin's prediction or?
Bro, we go into the LA game and both of us say we're going to blow them out of the water because we're confident. We came off of wins, draws. We're feeling good. We lose. Okay. We'll go into the Austin game. Austin's ahead of us in the standings. Austin's doing okay. And we thought, man, we're bumming it right now. All of a sudden, RSL puts together a good game, and Austin has a not so good game, and we pull out the minimum win. So, so just as an asterisk for everyone, if you get this far into the podcast, keep listening because it's going to be a struggle for this prediction.
You never know what RSL team you're gonna get because Wednesday you get a team that loses to the worst team in the MLS at home, and then you go to a tough environment like Austin with a weather delay and then win. So
seriously, like you don't know.
It's just like Utah weather. If you don't like it, wait 5 minutes. So
I mean, seriously. So, well,
but
that's.
I think going into Austin without Sava with the team, very, very, very impressive. So kudos to them. We moved up in the standings. We're now ninth. So right now we have the last playoff spot.
Officially, let's let the season end right now.
Stop the count. Stop the count.
So the next thing we should probably talk about, because after our win, all focus shifted to Sunday because Diego Luna was playing in the quarterfinal against Uruguay,
oh man,
which
this was sad.
I mean, I mean, you're already giving it away. You can't even like tell a story with it. But so from Marx's comment, you can probably tell we already lost. And if you haven't looked at Twitter or the news, we lost. So now the comments have been mixed everywhere about how the team played, what the team looks like, what the future looks like, how everyone's going to look when they return. Let's go through a couple of those things. So first off, how did the team look on Sunday playing the U20s?
They did not look great compared to their other games. Like if we look at their last game, 5-0 against New Zealand, that or 4-0. Sorry, 4-0 against New Zealand. That was actually a barn burner. It was literally one sided. New Zealand's not the greatest team, but it was great. And then we go back to the game that Luna scored. Another great possession game where he had an assist as well. I just don't know what it was against Uruguay where they just couldn't get their chances. Luna was the only one who, in my opinion, just seemed like the only one who had that urgency to go out and that hustle.
So yeah, it at this point it looked like the U.S. just broke down. You can't even call this a rainy night in Stokes or something like that. This was just not good playing overall. You can highlight certain players that tried to do their part, but again, soccer is a team sport. It's not a one person show. Now, does this tell us? Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Does this mean that this US team only does well against below mid-level table teams? Like they can't go against elite teams, or they don't do well against superior skilled teams?
If we look at this World Cup with the U20 World Cup, I would say, just basing off of that, I'd say this team they're like mid level, or that's from my opinion because they just died out because Uruguay wasn't the greatest if we look at their group stage and who they played. So yeah, was kind of just mid.
Because that's what worries me with all this talk
Mm-hmm.
about this U20 team. Everyone's saying, "Oh no, these players have a lot of potential." I mean, yes, we can talk about a lot of potential. These 18, 19-year-olds, they do have a lot of potential.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but the question is always comes up, and if all you Moon Boy fans out there at this point want to just get off, I'm not going to talk about Luna. I'm going to talk about everyone at this point.
Yeah.
Um, if all of a sudden they face a higher level opponent and they can't do anything past that, how much more potential do they have? Um, what's their ceiling at this point? Because if they can't beat a team that like Uruguay, who basically held back and played counterattacks, the U.S. played what they tried to do, but Uruguay just wouldn't let them through. If they can't break that, I worry that their level against D1 teams anywhere in the world
Yeah.
is not up to par, and they would not play. And that goes
Yeah.
for all the teams in this U20 World Cup.
Yeah, so you go back to this game and you see the way Uruguay is covering Diego Luna because Diego Luna plays kind of like that roaming position where he just roams around, and they were literally double teaming him the entire time. You can tell that Uruguay paid attention and watched their film on who to mark because that's the literally the only player on the U.S. team who literally plays that position and just roams around because Cade Cowell doesn't play that. Cade Cowell just literally just stays up top.
Yeah. So if one, Uruguay did their homework. Um, Two, the fact that they did their homework and they had so many people around Diego. Diego couldn't perform up. I think it's not that he played bad. He
No.
was marked. He was marked.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do when you're marked? Messi, when he gets marked between 2 to 3 guys, he also has a down game because
Yeah.
he can't do much.
Yeah.
But I don't want to compare Luna to Messi, but Messi obviously has years of experience, has this innate, out of this world skill to get out of pressure.
Absolutely.
Luna can, he has, but now we just need to see that transfer to a senior level team. And again, that goes for Cade Cowell too. Cade Cowell, I think, has only scored 1 goal for San Jose, and he's a regular starter for them, and he's supposed to be a striker.
Yeah.
So San Jose is also struggling with their young people as well. So my point is, as much as we have focused on Luna in the past because Luna is one of ours,
Hmm.
this is a whole Team USA issue where can these kids get first team minutes where they're at and be successful as they were in their first 4 games of this World Cup?
At this time, I don't think so. I don't see anybody from this World Cup who could be able to replace anybody for the Gold Cup or Nations League that's coming up this summer.
So that's another thing. Because I was thinking today, and I was trying to look it up, see how many senior players, U.S. national team senior players, were on the U20 or U23 team before they went to the senior team. And to be honest, there weren't that many. I
I'm
would
trying to
say
think.
maybe 5. I mean, you have the Sargent, that whole group, with Sargent.
Pulisic.
Yeah, I think he went straight because he was like 17 when he first started on the national team. That's what I'm saying. A lot of these players, if you're super good, they move you fast. If you're okay within the system, but you're still good enough, they keep you in the system. They drag you out through U23s. That's why I'm not sure how many of them actually are on the senior team. Because once you hit U23s and you graduate from U23s,
Yeah.
they kind of see what level you are at your club, what club you're at, what the level of playing you're doing wherever you are. A lot of them don't get called up again.
And why would they want to be transitioning from the U20s to the higher team when if you look at the higher team right now for Gold Cup and Nations League I guess this month, they don't even know fully who's on this team, who's going to be in the starting 11. So they're still trying to figure that out right now.
Well, not only that, I'm going to throw another linger at you. We're starting to pick up a lot of dual nationals too that never
Mhm.
played on our youth national team. I
Exactly.
mean, we have
You look at
we have
Dest, Serginho Dest.
Serginho Dest, Balogun. Um, there's a couple of others that I can't come off the top of my head right now. But we also have those that never played in the youth national levels because they went
Mhm.
straight up. So you have McKinney, you have Adams, you have Pulisic, you have people that were that good to just skip.
Absolutely.
So how are you going to fit these U20s into the senior team when there's really no space for them because we're starting to find all these dual nationals internationally? I'm not going to go back to. I mean, this is me. This is Alan speaking. I'm not going to go find my U20 USL star and put him on the national team when I have someone playing in Europe I haven't seen on the national team before, but I know he's playing really well in that league. I'm not
Yeah,
going to.
that's very true because not that often you see somebody who's turned up in the USL scoring 10 plus goals a season get called up. That's not how it should be ever.
I mean, granted that supposed player that you speak of, he doesn't exist, by the way, just so everyone is aware. That player doesn't exist. But if that player existed, he still, even though he played in the youth national teams, he won't get
Mhm.
called up to the senior national team
Agreed.
because of his
Agreed.
level of play.
Agreed.
So that's my biggest thing. Now, maybe attaching it to Luna, that's my biggest worry with being so fanatical about Luna, is that yes, he has a lot of potential, but I wonder if his ceiling right now is just MLS. If he can get some minutes and be good in MLS, I wonder if his ceiling is MLS because we haven't seen higher level from him. I don't count U20 World Cup as a high level.
Yeah, and I was just going to get to that next point. With them losing on Sunday, 2-0, are we going to see Luna go more for a starting role or just go back to his normal role, just sitting on the bench for Pablo?
If you're going to talk to me short term, like Wednesday, he'll be on the bench or he won't even be in the 18.
Well,
That
obviously not for Wednesday.
I mean, could be. There have been kids that because they recover well, they're already in. But for Saturday, it'd be more likely that he is within talks of playing, starting
Yeah.
no, on the bench possibly. But if you're thinking about trying to get him more minutes, like starter minutes, it'd have to be next week.
Yeah, and like we've talked about it in past episodes, where if Luna were to start, whose spot would he fill? Because he's not better than Sava. He can't take Sava's spot. He can't take Gomez's spot. So it's just
I mean,
we'll
you'd be trading him in with Rubio and Krylock, just doing their little rotation in there.
yeah, but who knows? But now that we have Luna back, it's just one extra man in the rotation of subs. So it's
It's
good. Good.
exciting. It's exciting to have him back. To be honest,
Yeah, that
especially with all the success that he had, it's exciting to see if we can get him minutes to see if he can produce the same kind of stuff.
yeah, and especially with the younger guys that have been coming off the bench with Yakusin and Bodie and then Nelly. Who knows? The sky's the limit with this team.
Yeah. And I hope that Luna follows the same. Well, Pablo puts Luna in the same way he's putting in the other guys, the other younger guys.
Yeah, but we shall see. But that just leads us into our next match, Wednesday's clash once again against Los Angeles. But
Oh boy. Um,
but
I do have a Pablo quote to
oh
quote you.
please, I
Um,
am very interested.
so Pablo, um, thanks to Caleb Turner, um, did they had like a little 10-minute press conference interview thing at practice. And one of the quotes that caught me, it was like first 2 minutes of the video. He says, roughly quoted here, in the LA game, two interesting moments where, in particular, the second goal. Do you remember the second goal?
I do.
Okay, we had 7 guys defending against their forward, and
Mm-hmm.
we didn't make a play. So it's not effort, it's not shape, it's making a play on that. It's mindset. What do you think about that? Mm.
It always comes back to that for Pablo, doesn't it?
I mean, try to think about it for real, like mindset. If they have, he said basically saying, I already have the shape, I already
Yeah.
have my defenders set to defend against this, and it's not effort because everyone's doing their best, the best they can. So it comes down to, are they mentally in the game to ready to respond, which goes back to my argument with the set pieces.
Yeah, and we look at that goal, and people are just ball watching. Nobody's there in their position, and they just let him just score a dinger.
Well,
And
I can name 3 defenders or three RSL players that were around him that all of them were kind of in a defensive stance, ready for him to maybe take another touch. Eneli, Silva, and Ruiz.
yeah,
3.
that's,
If you
that,
you watch the still shot, and 3 of them are the 3 closest.
yeah.
So
But
with that being said, what do you think? So we obviously know what the talk is going to be about from Pablo. It's going to be about mindset because he already knows how to play this LA team. Now he just needs his players to be in that mindset. So what do you, Marcos? What do you tell the players then after you just lost to this team last week in what should have been an easy win? What do you tell the players this week?
I would just tell them we need to go into the same mentality that we just did in Austin, going into a tough environments, winning on the road, and we need to turn that around at home because we have a home field advantage in the quarterfinals to win against LA. Granted, LA will be having Chicharito, but I don't know how much of an impact that truly will have because he hasn't shown up that much this season.
To be honest, I don't think he's going to have an impact. He hasn't had an impact on this season yet. In fact, he if um if you have been watching or keeping track of Chicharito, he's been, as of late, he's been the old grouchy guy in the MLS. He's been crying for fouls. He's been falling over with just the slightest touch. Chicharito is super frustrated right now in his career, And I think he's almost like regretting coming to the MLS because the MLS is making him look bad. At least this season. And so with that being said, I agree with you.
I was just gonna say, with Chicharito coming back into the 11, are we will we see Jovic go back onto the bench, and then do you think we'll see Chicharito and Puig playing up top?
You know, it'd be a kicker. I think you start Jovic and Puig and bring Chicharito off the bench.
If the game's still tied late in the match?
No, you just bring him on. Period. I mean, what if you're losing by one, you bring him on. If you're winning by one, you bring him on. I mean, for me, you bring him on because that's what's going to give your team the push, unless it is a blowout for
Yeah,
either direction. If it's a blowout at that point, you don't bring in your star player. You rest him for your next game.
that's true.
So from what I expect out of this game is pretty much a lot of what was happening in that first LA game. We were doing well. We were doing well that first game. One, we just need to make sure our defense has the mindset that man, we got to make sure we're marking space. We have to make sure we're marking our man. We have because the third goal for LA. Remember, we went on a little rant last time. Um, it was Brody left the whole. It would be our left wing wide open. The
Mm-hmm.
guy jogging with the ball down to the box and crossed it. I mean, man, come on.
What kind of huge formations from last Wednesday to this Wednesday's game do you think we're going to see in this one?
I think we might. I think Krylik is going to be changed out. I think
Oh,
um,
it,
Krylik
it,
is
it would make the
reaching.
most sense. It would
Yeah,
make the most sense.
Krylik is reaching his end right now. And
Mhm.
I would put in. I wouldn't put in Anderson Julio. I wouldn't. Um, Only because I'd rather see Musovski up there,
Mm-hmm.
and I would put Rubin.
I agree.
So um, there might be other opinions about that, but I think keep keep Rubio on the field as long as his confidence is high. Krylock is fine is good for leadership, for good for directing, but
Mhm.
we need plays. We don't need that much direction, to be honest.
No, I like that idea of having Anderson come off the bench because he brings speed and being able to come on in the second half, he'll be able to outrun LA's defense all night long. So that will be excellent.
Now what's going to be key to this game that ruined us last game
Mm-hmm.
is our subbing sequence. We need
Oh,
to start subbing
100%.
earlier. We need to start 65th minute, get Musovski off, get Julio in. Start getting as soon as Musovski starts walking, jogging, boom, hit him with Julio.
Well, you do have to play a factor if the game is still tied, like in the 65th minute. You want to save those subs just in case we do go into extra time.
I mean, yes, but I trust that Anderson Julio can put in 60 minutes, 70 minutes. If we do end up going to extra time, you put him in the 65th, 70th minute, he'll last you till the end of extra time just fine. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried when we don't sub until the 80th minute. When we sub, we don't give the new players enough time to get into a rhythm. Basically, we're just throwing them in there to hang on to the result. That for me is what 80th minute subs are for. It's just to hang on to this result because I don't believe I'm. It's not that it doesn't happen. I just don't think a lot can happen with 10 minutes left in the game.
You don't know. They scored 2 goals in 2 minutes, so
Yes, I know things happen, but in terms of momentum, I prefer to have my players have 15, 20 minutes if I'm gonna rely on them.
for me, I think in a huge game like this for subs, I think I would be looking at who would I want taking penalty kicks if it does get to that point. Because would I want to keep Sava on for a full 120? Would I want a player like Pablo Ruiz? Would I want Gomez playing a full 120? I think those are the kind of questions that you want to be thinking about throughout the match if it's still tied at that point.
Yeah, like I totally agree with that point. But here's another thing. Have we had a PK this season? Do we even know how we're going to react with PKs?
No.
So I don't know. I don't know. I hope that we're not playing for PKs. I hope we're waiting for just 90 minutes. I just want to play 90 minutes and call it good and get a win.
I agree. I want to be able to breathe by the end of the night. I don't want to have like a heart attack.
You can't risk a heart attack, my friend.
No, not at all.
No, so that's one of my keys for this game is the substitutions.
Yeah.
If Pablo can get the substitutions right, then I think we have a really good chance at at beating LA and not being stuck 3-2 down with 10 minutes left and start throwing on all our subs.
Yeah. I'm feeling pretty confident into this one. I don't think LA supporters are going to show up again.
Here's my thing. Because of what happened last week, I have this slight PTSD inside me. So I am worried. I'm definitely not going to be guessing a 3-0 victory like I did last time. But do you have any other keys to this match that you think would be vital?
No, I think we kind of hit the nail on the head there. I think subs in this last time when both teams played were huge. And just being able to have zonal marking whenever we have that huge transition, being able to be in the right position just so we don't leave guys wide open, especially on set pieces, in the middle of the box for a cross, all those things, because that was LA's bread and butter to be able to come back. And also, I think another huge thing is have an eye on Ricky Puig because he was having shots galore in the first half. We saw Marcelo's block on him in that first half. If he just keeps having those wide open shots, one of those is bound to go in.
Oh, Puigi boy. In fact, funny thing about Puig, because I love Barcelona, especially Barcelona with Messi, which I hope it all works out. I need to see Messi back in Barca, but
One
um,
can only hope.
one can only hope. But when Puig was playing with Messi in Barca, I really thought that Puig was going to be replacing Xavi and Iniesta, um, because Puig was that good when he was over there playing at his 18, 19 years old. He was really good. So when I see him dribbling in the midfield, trying to get into a scoring position, I start getting worried because I
Mm-hmm.
know I know I know that he has a not a lethal shot, but he has a surprising shot where it's
Oh
one
yeah.
where he's dribbling, and all of a sudden you think he's gonna like scoot one way, scoot the other, and all of a sudden he just launches a shot with like his toe, with inside of his foot, and he just tries to play the ball in a certain corner. It's a scary shot, especially for a goalkeeper. So the defense needs to collapse on him fast without forgetting without forgetting the other Los Angeles players around, because they're going to be attacking with not only Puig but with two wingers that are going to be ready for whenever the defense collapses. Puig's just going to chip it over someone's leg and boom, someone's in to try to take a shot. I'm worried.
I think if our defense is communicating the entire time, then we have nothing to worry about. We'll be on top of it.
I hope you're
But
right.
I've been right one time so far.
Me too. And we've been wrong the past 2 times. So what does that say?
But I think this time I'm going to be right. I have a strong feeling about that. So, with that being said, it's prediction time.
Prediction time. I do the Debu. There you go. Okay. Um, you went first last time, didn't you?
It's all you.
All right. Dad's first. Okay. Um, so with all my reasons already being stated for this, I'm gonna go with a 2-1 victory for RSL. It's gonna be a close one. It's gonna be battled. And and to be honest, Guys, I know I've gotten the past two horribly wrong, but come on. It's a 2-1 victory for us. This is a minimum win. So 2-1, period.
I kind of like brought it up a little bit under the rug, but I'm gonna go a 1-1 tie, and this is going to penalty kicks, unfortunately.
Oh, you think PKs? No one's
We
gonna
win
be
on
here.
we win on penalty kicks.
We win on penalty kicks. All right, fine. But no one's gonna be your friend. My gosh.
This game's gonna go. This is gonna be a late game, and we win on penalty kicks.
All right. Here's to that. Drink my
Cheers to
water.
that. But we have been wrong the past 2 times, so
Well, don't say that because now we just said that RSL is gonna win for both guesses, and now you're saying that we've been wrong the past 2 times. Guys, believe us. We're we're prediction experts. Oh my gosh. Well, we have to get this right because if we lose again to the Galaxy, that's not good. That's not good. That's the polite way of saying it. If I were to say some grotesque things, let's just say it would not be good if we lost to the Galaxy. It would not.
but on a plus note, for all you guys listening, we do have a special guest on our Thursday show. So stay tuned for our next episode, and you guys will not want to miss this.
Really?
Really,
Really?
really.
Oh, this is gonna be a surprise for me.
This is gonna be a fun next episode. So stay tuned. But in the meantime, head to our Twitter at the RSL Bros. Follow, like, and don't forget to subscribe as well.
Oh, also, you forgot to talk about the Instagram too.
Oh, also the same thing at the RSL Bros
Yes.
as well.
Perfect. Don't forget to comment, like everything. We'd love to hear from you guys. Interact with us. We are pretty down to earth. Just talk.
We're almost both bald, but I'm getting there.
Oh, stop it. Yeah, check out our Twitter page. Whenever you listen to this, we'll probably clip this, whatever, but take a look at some of our pictures, our old pictures, because I had a nice head of hair. You still have hair.
I still have hair.
So with that,
but
what do we say?
Until next time, guys. Until next time. Peace.
Ciao.